he brought a certain number. And that certain number he calls the second son. The second son is represented by this fabulous number. The first son is still waiting to come out. He complains because the second son went berserk, went amok, spent his power unwisely. Then he came to his senses and returned to his father, and the father embraced him and gave him the authority of himself. He gave him the ring, gave him the robe, the fatted calf, everything for the one who went out and came back to the Father. For his gift is the gift of himself to you who came out. I chose you in me before the foundation of the world. That's what we are told. Let the first son complain. He'll complain and complain. I served you, and you gave me nothing, not even a kid. He said, my son, all that I have is yours. But the most fabulous gift in the world, or possession in the world, is without meaning unless there is a knowledge of it and a readiness to use it. Going out as we did, we become aware of our possession. Then we can use it. Unless we went out into the world and misused it as we have done, we could not become aware of this power that is our own creative power, our imagination. I saw it so clearly one night. Here I am in this fabulous field of sunflowers, huge, lovely sunflowers. Each sunflower was a face, the human face, but they were all anchored in the earth. And I walked up and down among the sunflowers. They moved like an orchestra moves. They all moved in unison. If one smiled, they all smiled. If one didn't smile, no one smiled. They simply followed like an orchestra. If one bent over, they all bent over. And everyone did what the whole did. One, I didn't say one led them, seemed automatically to do it. And I felt, though I was alone, I could walk up and down, and they were anchored. They couldn't do it. I felt that I was freer, limited as I was, than all of them put together, beautiful as they were. These sunflowers of human faces, but they had not gone out. I was once a part of that infinite garden, not aware of what I possessed. And my Father chose me in him before the foundation of the world, and we went out. That I may become aware that all thine are mine. To become aware that all that is God's belonged to me, I had to go through the furnaces of affliction. And having gone through the furnaces, then he awakes within me. And he tells me how I will know he has awakened within me. He set up in the beginning the result of the experiences of humanity. And that result is a son. And the son is called David. And when I find him, I will know he is my son. And I will know the 89th Psalm. I have found David. He has cried unto me, thou art my son, my father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Well, I found him, and he cried these words to me. And I knew exactly who he was, and I knew then who I am. Until then, I did not know I was one with God. He is God's son, God's only son. Now he's my son. I tell you, you're going to find him, and he will be your son. And because he is my son, you and I are one. How can he be your son? And I know he's my son, and you and I not be one Father. So we are told there's only one body, one Spirit, one Lord, one God and Father of all. So in the end, they will not be Greek and Jew, bond and free, male and female, only one. All one in God. And you will be that God. So this is the promise that he made. Now, when I read the Bible, I take all the related parts of the promise and put them all together. For all of these things put together will find their fulfillment in you. All his promises find their yes in him, as you read it in the 2 Corinthians. All the promises of God find their yes, their fulfillment in him. So there are 39 books. Together they form one book. But the context, which means the meaning of it, you'll find related, scattered over the 39. He pulls from this, from that, from the other, written over the centuries, and pulls them into one pattern. So Christ is the pattern man. That pattern is buried in man. It's the only Christ in the world. When the pattern unfolds in man, it unfolds in man as the man in whom it unfolds. And then he knows who he is.